Well, it would seem as though identifying certain continuous attempts to prosecute clearly uh, continuous examples to vindicate and validate a threat which is constitutionally in my sort of overall ability to claim innocence within. Without getting too convoluted, because clearly when I go into abstract Cloud9 philosophical talk, it makes you all think I'm retarded, apparently. But, as in the example from yesterday, where I clearly got a picture of the license plate and the vehicle unto which I was being, through a threatening position amongst a military town, placed under a sort of unconscionable fear to commit a legitimate GTA, which for me was incomprehensible because I'm actually not scared of any of you. I just realize you're all so retarded. You're never going to stop blaming me for being annoyed and legitimately pissed off that you keep trying to give me entrances to circumstances which don't suggest any forward trajectory of free will or anything close to a life in which I possess. Sorry if I got a little philosophical for you and made you feel guilty. Ultimately, to keep things off of Cloud9 and very close to your very heated circumstances here on the ground, rather literal, considering I'm an endless summer location geographically. Anyways, if for some reason you can't comprehend why utilizing a tactic already ethically questionable by most modern standards is not anything more than entrapment for a criminal record unto which I'm about to have to deal with through a policing system of individuals compromised on a global and local level have committed to epically propaganda-based proportions and falsely administered from major account number one after legitimately being nailed for marijuana at one point. The level of embarrassment to your country and just vindicating my innocence alone while being placed into that unconscionable entrapment and sadistic, misperceived form of graphic art unto which you'd bust me in a commander jeep while producing a legitimately ridiculous charge induced by a communal conspiracy acknowledged clearly by myself to disproportionalize my reality and emotional disposition to actually feel fear and take that out is so epically consequential to the American society, let alone the state of Florida, based upon the interconnection of what happened on my way to Miami and what literally happened in Oregon State. I don't really think you grasp the lack of control you will face in being put upon a reverse court prosecution unto which I can variably utilize absurd amounts of evidential cases to bring you down as sadistically and massively with a pile of evidence as once displayed against OJ. Only it's a pile of evidence you accidentally planted, like police, theoretically, in the propaganda unto which you mispronounced circumstances, utilized and counter-identified by myself to point out I'm just a kid trying to get back to reality, while philosophically trying to enlighten your unfortunate misperception of your, I don't know, intelligent design, I guess. Whether that be exemplified by your uh, exploitation of the law to your pride and free will. Um, Either way, I have to deal with this due to the fact nobody's consciously rationalizing here, now, and why if you do not make a direct implication as to how to render me out of these redonkulously, offensively, reverse psychologically imposed positions you've placed me under. It's only going to make me that more visceral in handling the expungement of the variables into which I can isolate not only your army men there, but also the local police, only discrediting any and all claims you have to present yourself as conscionable in your place of superpower and dominance at a time, whether you like it or not, economically, you're about to be taken off that pillar and off, ultimately, that stage. Now, if you have any concept of how critical your PR is at a time like England being taken out of the limelight in the nature of being a global superpower, to maintain your way as dominant while sort of on your way down, just sheerly based on numbers and population, consequentially to the population growth in, say, Indonesia, India, China, and a lot of the diplomatic ties of Canada in relation to that, in which you think is a piece of your overall war machine. It's going to become very difficult for you to have any position to defend yourself. Again, you have all the power because I'm but a man, an individual, solo and humble. And you have all the capability to conspire in as many vindicated lies for self-defense as you believe you must. But I implore you not to continue to discredit my clearly victimized position in addressing such a broad based variable of action, reality, and behavior to the overall context in which you're forcing me to put into perspective based on having to utilize my position as a flesh bag and protect this flesh bag, and yours to allude to a sort of formulative generalization, which just a few innocent examples of your comprised body can sort of take me out of position to address and identify when if you force me to, I'll have to identify individuals specifically, criminally, conspiratory, and actually, um, with calls to a system which you've pronounced under the thumb of your overall supremist judicial system, as well as others, which are supposed to be checking and balancing the overall compromised circumstance of every single civilian with their civil rights. Just leave me alone and cut it out. Let it be. Let me be. And let me find the complacency naturally into which and where I am. And how I choose to go about dealing with that, let alone trying to put me down for being subversive about my true intent in terms of the next couple weeks or the next couple months in relation to how much you try to find methods under which to put me against the wall, even though it's contradictory based on what is relevantly evident amongst how you choose to disengrade my ability to trust you.